after you've gotten this system down, the next thing you need is that you must become what I call an expert in your area, in some area. That means you are the go-to person for this. And I don't mean go-to person for apartment buildings. I mean, when someone comes to you, they know the type of experience that they're going to get. I'll give you an example that's very tangible. How many of you are familiar with a small little store by the name of Walmart? Yes? Okay. How many of you are familiar with its cousin, the Red Circle Boutique, also known as Target? Yes? Excellent. And my favorite, because they have my shoe size in stock often, Nordstrom. You know that store? Yes. Excellent. Okay. Do any of those three stores sell anything in common? Yes. What? Products. Clothing. Now, did I tell you, did I just say go buy your shirts at Walmart? No, I didn't say that, or Target, or Nordstrom. I don't really care about that. But they all sell shirts. When you go to Walmart, what do you expect? What's that? Cheap. Say it louder, because you know exactly. He said cheap. When I go to Walmart, you know what I expect? I expect it to break. And they're pretty good at delivering on that promise, right? When you go to Target, what do you expect?
A little less breakage.
A little, a little less breakage. Yes, I expect a clean floor and a Starbucks. Other than that, they're the same as far as I'm concerned. Now, when you go to Nordstrom, though, what do you expect? Everything. Everything. You even expect the piano guy. You're like, where are you at? I'm here today. Where are you at, right? You expect everything. And each store delivers the proper experience to the customer. So if you were looking for a cheap t-shirt really quick, where are you going to go? Sounds like they're an expert at everyday low prices. Make sense? If you're like, no, I need something nice, it's kind of, maybe it's a wedding. Maybe you're like, okay, it's worth it for a $200 belt, you know? Where are you going to go? No, right. Do you get my point? You didn't even need to really think about that. That's just what they're known for. Except, yes, it's the demographic they serve. They all sell the same thing. So here's my point. You realize 3 fix and flippers could be in the same room, but all 3 of them serve a completely different customer? Why is it when we talk about real estate, you suddenly forget that there's a customer? And we start talking about the property and the area of town. I mean, I'm not saying those things are unimportant, but you should start with who, this is the number one question, who do I want to serve? Once you start there, the rest gets easy. Because once you figure out, hey, this is the person I want to serve, that person lives in a certain area of town, in every town, across the world. Period. I taught the same simple concept to some people in Estonia and Lithuania, and they were like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That's why I like these and I hate these. See, here's the California problem. In our retirement plans, we typically have somewhere between $40,000 to $200,000. We look at, go, that's not going to do anything out here. We're like, maybe a shack on the corner with a guy with a white t-shirt, right? What's that? That he got at Walmart, right? It's not good. But then we go online and we look in, Tennessee, Indiana, somewhere west or east. Sorry, I was thinking Midwest, East. And what happens is we go, wow, $40,000. Is that the whole house? What's missing? And the problem is, in our head, we think we're going to have a certain type of experience with that house. Well, we failed to understand the person that's living in that house, the customer. And that is the cardinal mistake. See, in California, we're used to Nordstrom. It's shiny, it's clean. I mean, even Santa Ana looks awesome, okay? And I promise you, I've had people come in from out of town. I'm like, I'm gonna try to take you to our low rent district in Orange County, right? So that they can see it. And they're just like, Where's it at? Because the streets are still clean. It looks relatively, compared to what they're used to, they're just like, this is not like, what do you mean? How is that condo here still 400 grand? Welcome to the sunshine tax. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. But let's talk about this for a second, because see, you've got to understand that when does Walmart make money when they sell a shirt? What about Target? What about Nordstrom? They all make money, so it's not about money. So please stop asking people what real estate deal or what real estate strategy is going to make the most money. Who do you want to serve? So for those of you who are at Nordstrom, if you're trying to figure this out, like, who do I want to serve? I'll give you a clue. It usually has a lot to do with the people you are most comfortable talking to, also known as the ones you grew up around. That's usually where a great place for you to start. See, some of you guys, you are so smart with mechanical things. You know how to work at a machine shop, and you get all of the pieces and the things that a machine shop needs. And you know what you're doing? You're trying to figure out how to do single family houses. But you spend all your time in a machine shop and wondering why this real estate thing ain't working for you. It's because you don't know the customer. You know the machine shop owner very well, but you're not trying to serve him. And that's a problem, right? So for those of you who are thinking Nordstrom, here's the thing that's different between them is you got to decide what type of problems you are willing to solve. That's really the difference. What headaches are you willing to deal with and treat appropriately? Because see, the customer, when they have a problem, they expect you to respond like, hey, this is a problem. So let me give you an example of what I mean. When you're doing Nordstrom, you get Nordstrom headaches. So your Nordstrom customer calls you, tenant calls you and says something like this. Hi, you see, what happened is I tried to come home and I was pressing the button on the garage door opener and the garage door did not go up. I am not happy and I need you to send someone over here to figure out what's wrong or else. Yes? Now, for those of you who have any experience whatsoever with garage doors and garage door openers, when you press the button and the garage door doesn't go up, what is tech support 101 on the garage door? Battery. Now, this is Nordstrom. The expectation of the customer means that, oh no, you do not expect me to go get the battery and put it in the garage door opener myself. Right? Their expectation is you better send someone when? Now, $65 trip charge to change the battery, which is now $40, right? And they better not inconvenience me, and that service guy better smell good. And if you fail to treat that customer, tenant, with that expectation that way, you have a problem. Correct? Let's talk about Walmart for a second. So a Walmart problem kind of sounds like this. They call you. You see what had happened was I woke up and the garage door was gone. Okay. I have systems that know how to deal with that, and I can treat that like an emergency. Because Walmart's got systems that deliver everyday low prices. Nordstrom has systems that deliver that customer experience. Target has systems that deliver on their experience too. What systems do you have to meet your customer? Do you even know who they are? Have you even thought about it? And that's why you're having trouble. Because what happens is you go buy the Walmart property, then you hire the Nordstrom property manager. What would happen if I took the Nordstrom sales associate and put him at the front door of Walmart? He's going to show up to work with a gun. If I take the Walmart greeter, blue vest and all, and put him at the front of Nordstrom, what's going to happen? It's just a big disconnect. It doesn't even make sense. Correct? But yet this is exactly what we do every time we go out there to build a team. We're trying to nickel and dime the vendors because we're trying to get the best price without realizing, are you even hiring the right person who knows how to serve your customer at all? But yet, if we were a normal business, we would never do these things. We just wouldn't. We would want our customer service and salespeople to know how to relate to our customer. It would be like 101. But yet, for some reason, as soon as you put the real estate tag on it, we just throw that out the window like it doesn't matter. And this is why you must become an expert in your area, developing expert systems to deliver that customer experience over and over again. Yes?
Could you give a specific example that would apply to real estate?
Sure, absolutely. A specific example is if the customer calls you and says their garage door is gone, do you have the ability to, or more importantly, does your team have the ability to put a new garage door on there without calling you? That's going to be the right price without buying the Nordstrom door that goes that belongs in the Walmart neighborhood. Do they know how to use Goodwill? What? Do they know how to use Habitat for Humanity? Do they know how to speak in anything other than granite to replace items? Because see, there are some contractors who only know granite. Granite does not belong in Nordstrom. And if you hire the wrong people and go, well, my property manager is taking care of it, and you then look at your statements and wonder why there's no cash flow left, that's probably because you hired the Nordstrom guy who thinks everything needs to be fixed. See, in Walmart, it just needs to be functional. It doesn't need to be pretty. An accent wall ain't always necessary. But in Nordstrom, a swimming pool is a mandatory item. These are the things that I am talking about. All of these amenities and accessories don't apply unless you've considered the customer. And until you've considered the customer, you're probably just shooting in the dark at, hey, what belongs in here? This applies to fix and flippers too. You guys are some of the biggest offenders because you don't talk to property managers when you're going to rehab the property, which ultimately means you're not considering the customer, like who's gonna really live here? You know, ask them, they know, right? And you could probably save some money on materials. Anyway, just saying. The point I'm making is only experts in one industry, you can't be an expert in all of it. Only experts know their systems. Like I've got systems for eviction, like down, period. There are some states I won't do residential real estate in because they're not landlord friendly. Can anyone name one?
Los Angeles.
Exactly. So I don't do residential real estate here. Why? Because my systems require landlord friendliness in order to get the person out. I also have relationships with the police department, the mayor's office. Why? Because when you work in Walmart, it's a good idea. Period. These are the things that help deliver the customer experience, right? That they're expecting. You must become the expert. Now, one of the things you must do is you do your first deals. Yes? Somebody had a question? Yes. Oh. Oh, go ahead, Patrick. Sorry.
How do you relate emotional intelligence or EQ into this stuff?
Yeah.
I think that's basically what
Yeah. Emotional. Woo. Emotional intelligence. See, here's the challenge. When it comes to emotional intelligence, I've learned I am not capable of responding to Nordstrom problems in a way that communicates I'm taking you seriously and this is a problem. Because what happens is I'm like, dude, change the battery. And they're offended. And that's the problem. I mean, yeah, I may be right, but if I'm wrong in the way that I'm right, I'm still wrong. And that's the problem with the customer. I got to remove myself from that experience and put someone there. If I'm going to play Nordstrom, I've got to have somebody else in that spot who knows how to play Nordstrom. The key thing for you as the chief everything officer, by the way, that's the new definition of CEO in my opinion, you need to pick the team. You need to be first aware of it. And then when you're aware of it, you can now pick the correct property manager by asking them things like, one of the best questions you should be asking, What is the area of town you prefer to work in? If you had your choice, what area of town would you want to work in? What area of town do you work best in? They're going to automatically tell you soon, because you're going to be able to look up that zip code and go, oh, they like Walmart. They like Target. They like Nordstrom. Okay. And no muss, no fuss. If that's not you, then that's not the person you should hire at any price, because that's not what you're trying to do. Make sense? Yeah. Yes, you've got to have alignment. And you're only going to have that alignment. You're only going to have, because the Walmart property manager has systems to manage Walmart. They know how to do evictions. They're not afraid to go to court. They get it, right? The Nordstrom person, they speak lease option all day long to the tenant, because that's what they kind of do. They get it. They know how to have an attorney as a tenant. Oh, God. They know how to do that. They know not to. But you get my point. They know how to do that. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to you. By not making these decisions on the front end, we're shortcutting not only profits, but the experience, and that's why you're having challenges. You've got to establish yourself as an expert. Now, when you do your first deals, you do your first deals for experience, not profit. Repeat that. You do your first deals for experience, not profit. Then later, you get to profit from your experience. Okay? The key thing I told you, there's an imbalance of experience in the marketplace, too much money. Therefore, you must learn to market your experience. You must learn to market your experience. That's the key. That's the key. You want these people coming to you? Market your experience. What am I saying? If you've done one deal, tell somebody. A lot of somebodies. As many ways as you possibly can. Now, I have a number of ways that I've taught people to do this, and the number one way that I prefer for most people to learn how to market their experience, the easiest way to quickly be seen as an expert by your potential investors, buyers, and sellers is to host a cash flow game. I know it sounds crazy. How does a board game result in money? I'm just the guy that's done it with tens of millions of dollars. That's all I know. I host a game and then money. That's really what it is. It's not more complicated than that. I promise you. There are people who want to know what you know, but don't want to do the parts that you do, and would gladly participate because proof of concept is totally there. And if they don't have it by playing the game, they'll have it by the time it's done. It's the easiest way to get into the game. Fortunately today, though, it's not the only way. As you can see, I have a book, I have a podcast. Does anyone in here listen to the podcast? I'm just curious if you already knew it existed. Okay, awesome, thank you. We're very active on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Tons of videos, tons of those things. The website, we have an email newsletter. I'm always telling people, here's how you do this, here's how you do this, and don't do this, because all of those things matter, and I know they're going to serve you and help you in some way, shape, or form. Because I just can only tell you how to, I'm telling you, market your experience once you've done a deal. Because most people, they haven't talked to someone who's done a deal. How many of you before today have ever had the opportunity to talk to anybody that's owned a cell phone tower? Not many. That's my point. Market your experience. See, if nothing else, you will remember he owns a cell phone tower. Watch this. Which company? Exactly. Got it. That's, the funny thing is there's two ways to get cell phone towers or billboards, these types of things. You can go through the front door, which is hard. Trying to knock on T-Mobile's door saying, hey, I'd like to buy a tower, or where are you going to put, because they work with contractors that do site selection, and that is hard, long road. I don't like hard, long road. I'm a street knowledge kind of guy, so I went the back door way. I found a building that had a cell phone tower on it, negotiated with the owner, and he did not assign any, and here's the secret. Most owners who own a building with a cell phone tower or billboard assign no value to it. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. They don't assign proper value to it, so therefore you end up buying, in this case I bought a vacant commercial building, and I was able to buy the building with the cell phone tower, and then now, because you have the cell phone tower lease, you can turn around, sell it to individuals. Well, when I say individuals, I actually mean hedge funds, because they love to buy those things, because they're easy to manage and they're steady cash flow. usually at insane multiples. Insane multiples. To give you an example, because I know somebody was about to ask, a $1,300 a month lease could be worth anywhere from $220,000 to $250,000. Why? Because everyone else is putting their money into a 401k. That 401k goes over to Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab has more money than they know what to do with, and if they tell you they did nothing with the money, then that's a problem. Why? Because the prospectus says they must invest it somewhere, period. They have to. They cannot sit in cash. So what do? They take anything that they can get a yield on at nearly any price, especially when there's an oversupply of money in the marketplace. See, the only reason you don't know this is because you don't have a playing piece and they're not calling you saying, hey, you got a cell tower, we'd like to buy it because we got more money than we know what to do with. And all these people keep giving us $50 every paycheck, and it's just, coming in, and we can't stop it from coming in because they really think this 401k is going to work for them. So what we got to do is we got to place it somewhere. Does that make sense? See, I'm probably offending some securities people right now, but that's not my problem. The problem is this is what's happening, and that's why they pay what they pay. And then you go 2.45%. Well, at least it wasn't 1. That's what's happening. Okay? That's why I like them, because they're easy to manage. That's the other reason I like large apartment complexes, because they'll buy those too, because they're easier to manage than the small 8 to 50 unit buildings. They'll buy the 200, 150s, 300s, etc., because they're like, cool, I can give a whole bunch of money and solve. They got a problem. Too much money doing nothing. You got to solve it. You've got to become an expert.
I think whenever you're going to come in and you're going to work with kids from back home, it's important that you just give them your love. You come in and you love on them. You have something that they want. They want to get better. They want to be able to do the things that you did. And so to be able to say, well, this is what I did and this is how you can do that, now you get their ear. Now they're paying attention.
All right, so I need a shooter up top. Everybody else, single foul line with the baseline. Good work. All right, I need everybody right here. Right here. Okay, now, first of all, great job. Coach is giving you guys a lot of instruction. Make sure you continue to pay attention. Work on these things. These things are not just a one-day thing. Take it home with you. You guys now are getting ready to go over to the classroom session, which is awesome. I've been in there before. It's awesome. Pay attention. It is more important than what you're learning right here. It is more important. And I don't care if some of you are going to go to the NBA. Matter of fact, if you're going to go to the NBA, it is even more important for you than it is for everybody else. He's going to talk about some things with financial literacy, how to handle your money, all right? So you make sure you pay attention to those things. And I will see you in another hour and a half. All right? Hey, let's get a break real quick. Hey, basketball makes us a family. You make sure you treat everybody here like brothers. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family! Let's go. Get that wall over there. Get that wall.
The percentages of people going and playing college ball, professional ball, those percentages are low. And so you realize that at this moment that these people need to understand something more than just this orange ball. And so Jay brings this financial literacy piece to our camp. And this is awesome. See, we don't teach this in high school across the country for the most part. It's not required. So where are you going to get it from? A lot of times we carry the habits of our parents, or we carry that, but for the most part, America's in debt. So really, whose habits are you carrying? So this allows an opportunity to give someone a chance to get ahead. And for those that are listening, they're going to get ahead. But if we just say we're going to have a financial literacy camp, I don't know how many people would sign up. But if you say, hey, we're going to teach you how to get better in basketball, something that you love. And oh, by the way, we're going to give you some tools for the rest of your life. Well, now you get a better attendance. And they walk out of here with a surprise that they didn't know that they were going to have.
Thank you. I've become known as the cash flow game guy in a lot of places, right? And that's fine. Kids need to know it too, right? You want to mess with, you want to really mess with a household, teach the kids this stuff first before you teach the parents. It becomes fun. It becomes fun. I'll get through the last steps if you'll permit me, and then I've got something that I want to give you for free for listening and enduring my bad jokes and all the other stuff as well. Once you've become known as the expert, the thing that you must do next in your system is you must have a way to follow up and follow through with people. You must have a way to sit down with people one-on-one, whatever that is. I don't care. My favorite place to do this is Starbucks. I used to have an office. No one ever showed up, so I just met people at Starbucks, and it just worked better, and that's what I still do. So most of my team, entirely virtual. My CFO is in San Diego. I rarely see my operations person. She lives in Northern California. You've met Jacob. Here's Drew. These guys are always following me around, making me look good on video and audio and stuff like that, which is great. But the point is, you've got to have a way to follow up and follow through. That needs to be intentional. You can't just hope that's going to happen, because it's not. People want to be involved, but you got to let them know that hey, I'm here to help. And if you don't, they won't. Simple as that. And you must learn one basic skill set. You must learn to become a pig. Professional information gatherer. Okay? Now, men. I need all the men to pay attention to these next words. I need you to therefore learn to listen. All the wives said, amen. Yeah, I understand. I'm on your side here, though, because the reason you're not getting more deals, more investors, more sellers is because you think you know what they want, and you're not asking. People will tell you what they want if you would but ask. You think the reason you're not attracting private capital is because your return's not high enough. Absolutely incorrect. You don't know what they want. That's the problem. There's a technology I developed called the Profit Analysis Quadrant, which gives you the ability to talk to people in such a way using a napkin and help them understand what parts and benefits of the deal that you're willing to give away, which ones they can keep. For example, there are ways to give away cash flow and depreciation in a deal, but you keep the equity as well as the amortization. This is really, really important stuff to understand. I so don't have the time to go into it tonight. I'm just here to tell you that that's possible. In fact, it's in chapter 9, write that down. Chapter 9 of my book. It's called the Profit Analysis Quadrant. You want to study it, learn it, love it, period. Because you've heard people say, guess what? You can do a deal on the back of a napkin. But no one's ever taken the time to show you how. And that's what I had to figure out, because I had no money, period. And I had to figure out how to get access to other people's. You must learn to follow what I call the 70-30 rule. They talk 70% of the time, which by definition means you are what? Listening and asking questions. I study questions like nobody's business. That's what I love to do. It's one of my favorite things. I will go to a timeshare presentation to study the questions. Why? How many of you have done this? You've gone to a timeshare presentation. You agreed with the person that you were going with that we are not buying anything. You shake on it. It's agreed. You get out the car. And then somehow in 90 minutes you spent 20 grand. Something happened, right? They are professional information gatherers. They're really good. Study them. Another place to go study questions, it's going to sound crazy, QVC. They're having a conversation with you. You know that green little bauble for 4 easy payments of $29.95 is barely worth 30 cents. But yet, if you watch too long, you want it. And you don't even know why. Because they're good. Study. Go to a car dealership. The good ones ask questions. The bad ones, they actually try to sell you a car. And that's the difference between the people who actually make it in the car business and those who don't. They ask questions. You learn the same thing. I promise you, you'll see much, much better results. Step 6 is what I call the enroll process. This is where you're really breaking down your deals. You're saying things like, hey, in exchange for, this is the Shark Tank conversation right here, because that's like one of the things that I'm doing. I'm in the process of raising $350,000 in exchange for 20% equity in this particular deal. That sounds like something you've heard on Shark Tank, right? That's that question, but what does that mean? And how do you show persons or a person how much, well, I've got 100,000, how much will that get me? Okay, cool. That's where the profit analysis quadrant comes in. That's how it explains your deal structure. That's how you have the ability now with it to close deals on a napkin at Starbucks and raise millions of dollars. Because that's what I do. That's what I know how to do at Starbucks. It's kind of crazy. There are a number of Starbucks, especially near my house. They're like, hi, Jay, working today? Yep, right over here. I have a chair in Starbucks. It's like the $1 million chair. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. It's just really crazy. But it works, and you need to understand how to use it. That's a picture of it. That's what it looks like in chapter 9 of the book. Then you must remember the next thing, because I don't like spending money unless I absolutely have to. And one of the things that it comes down to is when I say business, you often think marketing and you think that has to do with money. Well, okay, true, but you can learn to do business by referral. See, having been previously a financial planner, I couldn't advertise, so I had to learn how to do everything by referral, or else we were going to starve. That's just how it was. And I got really, really good at what I call rehearsing people at giving me referrals all the time, period. In fact, the number one reason I do business is to get you to introduce me to everyone you know. That's why I do business, not to actually close the sale and get the deal done. I want to know what's it going to take to get you to introduce me to everyone you know. That's really what I'm after. That's it. Some people, they actually want to do a transaction with you. Cool. Some, they just want to come to cash flow game, get to know you, shake your hand. Awesome. Some just want to listen to a podcast. Hey, you need to listen to this guy. Great. All of that's good for me. All I'm saying is that's the number one thing. That's the most valuable thing, is being able to get in front of lots of people. And with today's technology, that's really, really easy to do. And something we must all become better at, because we're a business, period. Here's something I want you to think about. How many of you're in the middle of your sporting event or show, and then the commercial comes on, and you're like, great, time to go to the bathroom, right? Let me tell you something. The only reason you have that reaction right now is because it's not your product. If it was your product, you know what you would be doing? You'd call mom. Mom, turn the channel 5! Am I wrong? That's exactly how you would be responding. See, the person who owns that product, that's what they're doing. Yes! 2 million people just saw it. Am I wrong? That's exactly what they're doing. They have a reason to be excited about the commercial. You don't. That's it. See, I get excited when I look at my podcast because I see thousands of downloads every day. It's pretty cool. I don't even know who they are. I'm just like, yes, they're learning, they're listening. And then they email in, and then something happens. We get emails from the UK, and Asia, and everywhere. People are learning. Their minds are changing. Now, how many of you have figured out that I have way more up here than I have time to get out of here tonight? Right? I just got a lot of stuff that's become a part, because I didn't go to any college dropout. I just street knowledge. Just here, do this, it'll work. Don't ask me why, just do it. Okay, that's really where I come from. And there's just so much that I always want to share. And that's why this system is so important. to me and has been so important to so many people. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. What chapter in the book did I tell you to read? 9. And because you're going to study the what? Profit analysis quadrant. And it's going to help you to raise capital. If I gave you the opportunity to get a copy of the book at no cost, how many of you, by a show of hands, would actually take advantage of it? Are you sure? Yes. We'll see. Okay, so here's what you need to do. You take out that rectangular device that's in your pocket that's been on vibrate or stun for a little while now. That is the phone number. That's the key word. You text the word book, B-O-O-K, book, to that number. It'll respond with the link. Click the link, name and email. I'll send you the book. You will have a PDF copy before you go to your car this afternoon. You'll also begin to get some educational information from me because that's what we do. We produce 3 videos a week, 1 email or 1 article a week, 2 podcasts a week. I am always trying to tell you guys, here, go do this. Because if you don't actually do it, none of it matters. Okay? So again, text, book, case doesn't matter, capital or lower, 72,000. Yes? No problem. Cashflowdiary.com/free book. I'm trying. Right, okay. I will write it down too. You can text it right now. Huh? You can text a 5-digit. I know. I'm aware. It's a 5-digit number. I know. It works. It does.
It's downloading? All right. Anybody else got it downloading right now?
Yep. Free.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Book.
7, 8,
There you go.
9.
Now, you got it? Good. Excellent. Good. It's 320 pages because even when I was writing the book, I couldn't shut up. The editor cut it down to 320 because I had still so much to say because there's so much to what we do. Guys, gals, people, all of you listening, I got a question. I said that my goal was to leave you a little bit smarter than you came. How many of you are willing to admit that you learned at least one thing this evening with me? Excellent. Thank you. If you haven't, please come see me after. I'll do my best to give you one idea that you could use to go out there and become a little smarter. I definitely appreciate your time and attention. Thank you.